Here's the kicker on this boat. It's July 3rd. We have to have it back at this dock July 16th. It goes with the rental property. So that's the amount of time we have to get it done. We got some work to do. Hey, it's Tom from Toons. This is gonna be a fun one. We are out at the lake doing a pickup on this Crest pontoon. Let's look at what it looks like before. We'll do a quick walkthrough. This is a 20-foot Crest. Full restoration on this one. So we're gonna keep the railings, but we're gonna repanel them, something different that we haven't done yet on video. New luxury seating, new helm. So we walk around, you can see the dirty carpet. It's pretty nice carpet back when this boat was new, about 20 years ago, but it is worn out now. It's got the old Evinrude Ficht on it, 2-stroke oil and fuel injected motor. That's going. This is getting a brand new 4-stroke, 60 horsepower. But everything else, we're gonna reupholster this back sun deck and then all new seating, luxury beige and tan seats. We gotta drive this back over to the launch and get it back to our shop so we can get started on it today. Nice, peaceful morning. This lake has no wake restrictions, certain times of the day, certain days of the week. And if you look way over there, that is a twin outboard tri-toon. Someday we'll tackle that one. There's a boat that's been restored with all Deckmate stuff. Gotta love seeing that. We're back at the shop. We're gonna tear this thing down. Everything comes off of this boat. We're gonna get that all done today. Maybe even get it decked today. We'll see. This is day one of this restoration project, July 3rd.
That is aggressive. There's some cavitation definitely happening with that bad boy.
The cavitation queen has spoken. That's not going to be a clean running prop, that's for sure.
It's
that's aluminum.
Oh.
It's just been driven through the sand so much that it has no paint on it.
And rocks, and I would say some trees.
We've got this boat all stripped down, and here is the kicker with Crest. So the way that Crest does their cross members, in my opinion, is the beefiest that you could have. So it's a very thick 1/8 or 3/16 inch thick aluminum, and they bend it. So there's 4 bends in this. I don't think it's extruded. I think it's actually bent, but this reduces twist, reduces torque, reduces bend, everything compared to C channel or Z channel. In my opinion, hat channel is the next strongest compared to this. I call this U channel, but it's that upside down C channel sort of. The hat channel is flat. It would be flat, come up, flat, down, and flat. So you can bolt on each side. And what that does is it gives you strength, but it allows you to use self-tapping screws. In this case, we have to use a long deck bolt. This is specific for Crest. You can take a peek at it. Some people will call these elevator bolts. What this does is when the plywood is sitting on top, we'll have to go underneath and drill holes up through the plywood, and then we'll countersink. We'll show you that process. But this essentially is gonna go down onto the plywood, and then we will put a nut, locking nut underneath, and that's gonna hold it in place. So again, we'll countersink the head. It's just about the thickness of a quarter. So we'll take one little layer of plywood off, drop this down through, and then we'll bolt it. So we'll just reuse, the neat part is we reuse every single hole that's in here. And then the railings, most of them were down through this as well on the outside. So really secure system. Crest is, in my opinion, probably the beefiest built boat, like these from the early 2000s, late 90s. They're a really stout boat compared to other boats in that era. So if you're looking at redoing a big project that's gonna last forever, making it into a tri-toon, Crest is a great option for that. But remember, once the deck is on this boat, making it into a tri-toon or adding a third pontoon is almost impossible unless you're gonna do some backyard engineering sort of stuff to make it happen, because once this is covered by wood, there's no getting to where you could bolt it on in the middle And actually, if you look in the middle of this cross member, there's already machined holes that you could put a center pontoon in, but once the wood's on top, you can't get access to that. So if you're doing a project and you're thinking, maybe I want to add a third pontoon, when it's like this, that's the time to do it. Let's get to putting a deck on this. End of day one. Took us a little longer to get the boat back here than we had planned because turns out the boat launch didn't open until 10 a.m. We were there waiting before 9, right?
Yeah. But we took River for a walk, so
yeah,
it
happened.
worked out.
So what we've got done, tore everything down. We've got our plywood pieces all cut for the deck trim. We've got it cut for the back. We're at a good stopping point for the day. I think it's close to 5 o'clock anyway. So that's day one. We have done it before where we stick out a long day and we bolt the floor down and get the vinyl on. It would take us probably 2 or 3 more hours. And we've been here hot, sweating all day. Not easy to do in the middle of the summer. So we're gonna head home and we'll be back at it day 2 tomorrow on the 4th of July. Yes, we're gonna work on the 4th of July, at least part of the day. We'll see what we get done. Ready, Dan?
Vivi, are you ready to go home?
I'm calling it a day. Clocking out. It's the 4th of July. We're back day 2 and we're gonna go ahead and bolt these boards down to the cross members and lay our vinyl. And that's probably gonna be all we're gonna get done today because it's supposed to be 90 degrees and it is humid and hot and it's the 4th of July. So we're gonna get some work done on this boat though. Can't let a day go by. It's a tight timeline. We are wrapping up day 2. It was a shorter day, but it's the 4th of July. We gotta go get out on our boat and enjoy the water. Vinyl is on, deck trim is on. The railings correspond heavily into the deck trim. The holes are all drilled through. Our next plan of attack is getting those railings over there, all the panels out, and getting ready to put in or slide in the new sheet metal and then close that lip back up. We'll explain all of that, take you through it because that's a huge part of this project. And then this thing will start to look like a boat pretty quick. We got to get that motor off and the new Mercury 60 horse command thrust on too. That's a wrap for day 2. Stay tuned, day 3 is coming fast. Getting into day 3, kind of a short and sweet day on this boat. It was basically just getting everything unboxed, laying it up on the deck, getting ready to put everything in as soon as we get the railings repaneled. But that's got to wait because this boat is getting its last couple details, getting tied up and getting delivered in a couple days. So we'll be back on our Crest for day 4 tomorrow, and we'll make some big moves with the railings tomorrow, get it ready to go. Starting day 4 with some dirty work. Before I jump into the railings, I'm getting this motor off because I have to borrow it from a local marina. It needs a lift ring to get the motor off. So I grabbed it last night before the end of the day. I'm gonna get this pulled off, run it back to the marina, and then I can start on the railings. So that's where we're at. Furniture's up, looking good. A lot of work to do today. It's gonna be a long day. We got here early, got a good early start. So let's get this old 90 horse off so we can get ready to put the new 60 horse 4-stroke on. Here is today's big task. We're gonna take all of this paneling out and replace it with new metallic indigo blue is the color, I believe, from pontoonstuff.com. So what it is on these panels is a system of the aluminum super thin aluminum. Yours might be plastic. This is like a powder coated aluminum. I'm gonna take this out by peeling this lip here gently. So you gotta be careful because this is thin aluminum and it can crack. Luckily in this case, it's a little bit of a U shape. You can see a pretty good sized gap there. And that's gonna make this a little easier than some. Sometimes this lip kind of just comes straight down from the railing, and that can make it a lot harder to get at. There are some other things you can do in terms of cutting this right off or riveting to it. We're not going that route. We're gonna do it properly, and we're gonna go ahead and just reskin. So there's a top lip and a bottom lip. I'm gonna get a kind of a paint scraper tool in between and peel it up. I like to try to do something wide so that I don't get a bunch of dimples. We don't want it to look too bad when it's done. I always warn people it's hard to make this look factory again because they have a system or a machine that rolls that down once and done at the factory. So we're gonna go ahead, start by peeling these out. I'm gonna try to keep these intact because they're gonna make great stencils, especially pieces like this. So I can cut my new paneling because this is about 15.5 inches that I need. The paneling comes in 18-inch piece. Same thing with the door. We'll pop that out. Doors are gonna be a little trickier because we have lips all the way around. That's gonna make it a little bit harder, but we'll make it work. So here we go. This is actually the back corner, the stern entry on the starboard side of the boat. And if you look here, the tab ends here. We're peeling that back. And then this was just riveted, a lot of rivets. That's one way to do a corner. I think it's pretty smart. What are your thoughts on all this?
It's not fun and there are a lot of spiders.
Like more spiders than ever.
Well, that's debatable, but
We've got all of the paneling punched out. A lot of rivets holding it in certain spots. So this is the end of day 4. Getting ready to panel tomorrow. The plan was to get everything paneled today, but we lost about 5 hours doing some last minute things for that boat, running around like a chicken with my head cut off. So we're gonna call it a day, go relax, and then we'll hit it early tomorrow.
you said it.
And that boat goes 2.5 hours north home tomorrow. So that's exciting.
Let's go.
Early morning back at it before we go deliver a boat. We're gonna try to get a couple of these railings paneled and ready to go. So this first one, pretty straightforward. I've got the old piece. It's laying on the floor over there. So I'm gonna get an exact measurement of that, cut it as close as possible so we can slide it in and get the edge in. One side is gonna have to be peeled back a little bit extra. Just being careful not to crack it because you'll see it'll start to stress where you bend it. And when you bend it back, that's when you'll crack it. So be careful there. One other thing I should mention is there were rivets in here. So make sure that you sand that stuff down so that when you slide your sheet in, you're not just scratching the heck out of the front of it. The easiest way that I found to cut the panels to size is if you can use your old panel, you took it out in one piece, you can use it as a template, draw some lines, and then don't be a moron like me, have a guard on there, but this is a big angle grinder with a cutoff wheel, and I'm just barely scoring into that aluminum. I don't want to get it too hot and discolor it or melt the powder coat, so I'm just scoring it quickly. And then I can bend the other side of the panel because this is our keep side. I bend it back and forth a couple times. It breaks off with a nice clean edge, so no burrs or anything left. So I'm gonna make this cut real quick, and then we'll get to putting this piece in to finish off this long straight panel. And then once we know that the size is right, we just lay it on, mock it up. We've had to trim a couple down, not a big deal. Then we peel both sides of the plastic and then slide it in. You could slide it in, but getting the plastic off, you then have to run a razor around the edges, and it's just a little bit of a pain in the neck. So we are just peeling both sides and then sliding it in. And you're gonna see a lot of stuff like this where there's a center cross member and this is behind a couch. So a lot of times you'll see it where this is one sheet that was slid in this way, and then we can slide the other sheet right in, match them up in the middle, rivet them down, and then we didn't have to slide one whole sheet in. So you'll see it from the factory. They do little cheats and things to make it faster and easier, and we're just gonna copy what they do in those cases. Once your sheet is slid in, the best way that I found is taking, this is just a rubber mallet, smaller one, kind of just a dense plastic, and I'm just working and hitting all the way along, and that tends to bend it back without a big ripple effect. So we're just slowly kind of moving across, little hits, but lots of them all the way across. And then being on a solid surface like concrete and being able to put pressure down helps a lot, because when it's solid and you're hitting straight down and there's not rattle, the lip bends back much smoother and cleaner. Then once you're done, you can go back and look at it. And if there's any risen spots, like I can see one down here, I'll come back give it a couple hits to smooth it out. This is the most spidery boat. Maybe not the biggest and scariest, but the most, by far. And in case you wondered, they live in your railings. Any hole or nook and cranny they can get in and live in this, they love it. This is the first one that's gonna get put up on the boat in preparation for reassembling everything. Here we go. We've got a bunch along the side that are done. We have basically just the other side and then the rear, and we're done with the paneling.
We got all of the panels paneled, and now Tom's putting them on the boat.
It's looking good. We had to finish railings on so that our seamstress Holly can get to work on the seat covers tomorrow, because those take her a good 3 or 4 days. So we're gonna keep going. It's 3 o'clock now. All the railing panels are in, all of our sheeting. So that's a great thing. What we'll do before it's all said and done is we'll go run some silicone, because there's gonna be some movement. So we're gonna run silicone along to make sure that that's not obnoxious or rattly. That takes care of that usually. So we're gonna get these railings in, doors back on, and then come in super early tomorrow and get the seats all screwed into place so that Holly can get going. We've got the railings all bolted in at this point. Doors are on, front furniture is in, because Holly is working on the seat covers for this boat. So I'm gonna get the back seats in right now, and we'll just keep moving along. We are going to start day 8 with digging into some wiring. So we've got our navigation lights, docking lights, the horn is in, LEDs are under the seats, the speakers are in. So what we're going to do, we even actually have the LEDs under the deck in already. We're going to start by getting things wired into our accessory harness for all of our electrical accessories. And then as soon as the console gets here today, we had a little mix up with the console. As soon as that gets here today, we'll start putting that together, and that will allow us to take all of our electrical, plug it right in, and we should have electrical all working by the end of the day today. We have other videos that show how simple it is to wire in our navigation lights, docking lights, horn into that accessory harness from pontoonstuff.com. So you can check out those videos, quite a few of them actually, but it's all color coded. So I have my blacks are always going to be my grounds, and then I have a gray with a green, that's my navigation light. Gray with a black stripe is my docking light, and then orange with a white stripe is my horn. Cool thing is, even if you're working on your boat at home and you need to figure out what light or what wire to hook your docking lights up to, this black or gray with a black stripe is pretty much universal. Any boat that I've seen that's using a similar harness, same thing with your navigation lights. That gray with a green stripe is your navigation lights. It's pretty cool that that's one good thing that's universal in terms of harnesses that I've seen. I'm gonna get to work on this so we can keep things moving along. Day 9 kicking off. Yesterday was get a lot of stuff done day. So I'm gonna walk you through what I did yesterday and then talk about what we're doing today, but this boat's coming right along. It's looking good. So the seats are all in. We got the large helm and got that screwed in yesterday. I'm working on the top half of that today and we'll get that all installed. But the cool part is the speakers are all in, the underseat lighting on the bottom is all in. Underneath the deck, all of the wiring is run. You can see we're tied up over here. Most of the whole front of the boat, wiring is all done. Nav lights, docking lights, everything. You can see the whole mess of wires here. That's all gonna go up through the console shortly here. So what I'm doing right now is just getting the console ready for all that. We've got our holes cut, steering system in, ignition, safety lanyard, everything's cut for the shift throttle control. Stereo's in. Everything's gonna be plug and play once we get it up on the boat. The Mercury is hung, battery is in place. We're gonna have to do the fuel system today too. And then hopefully the sun deck that covers all this will be back from upholstery today or first thing tomorrow. Bimini top is also on and wired up, ready to go. We're hoping to have this thing wrapped up tomorrow by the end of the day and deliver it on Saturday. That will be 11 days complete flip on this boat. Let's see what we can get done today. Up on the dash, we have, you can't see them, but our navigation lights are working. Horn is on. We've got our docking lights, interior LEDs along the floor. We've got exterior LEDs, so under deck lighting. And then on our last switch there, our next last switch, we've got our stereo, plenty loud, 4 speakers, 2 up front, 2 in the back. That's on a switch. And lastly, our USB charger is on a switch as well. That powers these. So as long as all the lights are off, we've got no power draining. I'm gonna hook the steering up. I'm gonna do my gauge panel here. Gotta wire all that up. Controls. And then we're basically done with the entire helm. Just gotta throw the glove box in. And then we'll move on to the fuel system. But this is coming together quick. This is where things start to look like a boat again. Back at it. It's Friday and hoping to deliver this boat tomorrow, Saturday. Waiting on a couple little things from the upholsterer. We need the sun deck that goes in the back. Seat covers are pretty much done. You can see them draped over there. Got some fishing seats to install up front. But all in all, this thing is coming right along. We're gonna walk in here and show you where we're at. And then the list is started of things to wrap up, but it's short and it's just kind of odds and ends details. The console is pretty much wrapped up. We still gotta just screw in our panels, but the gauge panel is on, hooked up, working. So that's exciting. Controls are in. Everything's looking really good. This is where that sun deck will go. That fuel system is in, ready to go. Battery system is in. Brand new 60 horse Merc 4-stroke. Beautiful motor. Let's get to wrapping this thing up today. Put in a good long day and get it done. Holly worked her tail off finishing these seat covers when the sun deck came in. All the snaps are on. This is by far the best way to protect your investment of your restoration project and your new seats.
Well, we did it. It's July 15th. We're a day early. We're gonna go deliver this boat today back to the dock so it's ready for the renters tomorrow already. This boat got basically everything. A little different style on the railings. We repaneled everything. So same original railings in terms of the tubing, but all new sheet metal gives it that sharp, more modern look with a metallic finish. We did tan woven vinyl. We've got a couple fishing seats up front. We've got stainless cleats, docking lights, and LED navigation lights. You can see in the back there, the bimini is the navy to match the railings, and this blue with the new beige luxury seats really pops. It looks great together. We're gonna go back and take a look at what we did in the rear with the new motor and the swim ladder, then we'll hop inside. On the back here, this used to have a 2-stroke, which was louder, smokier, dirtier, and required adding oil to a reservoir. No more of that. This is a brand new 4-stroke Mercury 60 horse. It's a command thrust. That means it has the 90 horsepower gear case, so it spins a much bigger prop, actually a 14-inch diameter prop. That's about 3 inches bigger than a standard 60 horsepower.
And that is why people love those quiet 4-strokes. Just purring back there.
Around the side here, we have the new swim ladder, stainless steel, heavy duty. This extends way down, easy to access, easy to get on and off the boat for everybody. Before we hop inside, take a look just to remind you what this boat looked like when we picked it up. As we come in, you can see the new beige with the tan diamond inlay. Lots of storage in these lean backs. You can put all sorts of stuff in there. Storage in under the bench seats as well. We've got the armrest, and with these luxury seats, you're gonna get a stainless cup holder in every single spot. Way sharper looking, a nice finish. We have the beige large helm, and this is gonna house everything you'd ever need. If you come around and take a peek, we have the glove box for storage, got the owner's manual, whatever else you need to throw in there, your wallet, your keys. We've got the Deckmate Bluetooth stereo, powered that with a switch. That way when you come back to the dock and you turn everything off, you can make sure all these lights are off, and then you'll be just fine and not drain your battery. This has all of our functions on it. It even has a charger for your phone. We did the gauge panel, gauge cluster. Everything lights up with the key switch. Brand new controls with the brand new motor as well. Just making everything fresh and new. I've got this reclining helm chair. Extremely comfortable. I can kick back and cruise, hang out on the lake. Got a triangle table. And the reason that there's the triangle table, in case you didn't know, is it allows for the flow through the boat. If this was a rectangle, we'd block off a little bit more. So we give up a little bit of table space, but we have a nice flow to the back of the boat. Even with the captain's chair here, I can walk right through and get out to the swim ladder. Big L couch in the back with the sun deck. And we reworked this sun deck big time. We got rid of the 2-piece that was kind of wonky and falling apart. We have a new gas hinge in there. It's gonna help keep it open. The fuel tank is on this far side. The battery is right down here. And the nice thing is
I just have to reach down and prime the fuel bulb right here instead of having to open it the opposite way like it was before. We've got to get this boat on the trailer and ready to go to the lake. And just like that, we're getting on the water. Let's go take this home. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, maybe gave you some ideas, you can consider super thanks right down below above the comments. You can help our channel out, or www.buymeacoffee.com/TomsToons. And if you love the stuff that we put on this boat, go to pontoonstuff.com. In the description, we've got our coupon code, save you 5% on your purchases. Thanks again.